Welcome to this video on the organization of an ecosystem. We will be covering key concepts in ecology for your GCSE Biology revision, focusing on how living and non-living elements interact. Ecology is the scientific study of how organisms relate to one another and their environment. This involves looking at the living world, the physical world, and how populations shift over time. The basic unit of ecology is the individual. A single organism, such as a robin or an oak tree, interacts with both living and non-living factors to survive and reproduce. Ecologists organize life into levels. Individuals form populations, populations form communities, and these communities, together with their physical environment, make up an ecosystem. A population consists of all organisms of a single species living in the same area. Factors like birth and death rates, as well as migration, influence whether a population grows or shrinks. It is important to distinguish between a population and a community. A population covers one species, while a community includes all the different species living and interacting together in an area. A community is essentially the network of different populations that share a space. They rely on each other through various interactions, such as feeding relationships and competition. A habitat is simply the place where an organism lives. It provides the necessary resources for survival. Whether it's a vast rainforest or a small rock, organisms are specifically adapted to their habitat. The ecosystem is the big picture, combining the community of organisms with the non-living or abiotic environment. Remember for your exam, ecosystem equals community plus environment. Ecosystems vary greatly in size, but all operate on the same principle: living organisms interacting within a complex, interdependent web. Organisms in an ecosystem are affected by two types of factors: biotic, which are living, and abiotic, which are non-living factors like light intensity and temperature. Biotic factors represent the living parts of an ecosystem. These include the interactions between organisms that define their population dynamics. Common biotic factors include predation, where hunters consume prey, competition for resources like light or food, and disease, which can impact population numbers significantly. Predation is a major biotic factor. It creates a natural cycle where predator and prey populations influence each other's survival and growth rates. In this predator-prey relationship, rising prey numbers allow predators to thrive, which eventually leads to a decrease in prey, causing predator numbers to decline. This keeps the ecosystem balanced. Next, let's explore competition. This biotic factor is split into two types: intraspecific, which happens within the same species, and interspecific, which occurs between different species fighting for limited resources. A classic example of interspecific competition is the arrival of gray squirrels in the UK. They compete with native red squirrels for food and nesting sites and carry a virus that is fatal to reds, severely reducing their population. Disease also shapes ecosystems. Pathogens like bacteria and viruses reduce the fitness of individuals. This has direct effects on population numbers, indirect effects on their ability to compete, and can cause cascading effects across the food web. Now we move on to abiotic factors. These are the non-living physical and chemical components of an ecosystem that determine whether an organism can survive in a particular habitat. Key abiotic factors you need to know include light intensity, temperature, moisture, and soil pH. Changes to any of these can lead to major shifts in how species are distributed and how communities are structured. Light intensity is crucial for plants and algae as it drives photosynthesis. With less light, plant growth slows, which in turn reduces the food supply for herbivores and affects the entire animal population. Temperature is another critical factor. It controls the rate of enzyme-driven reactions in organisms. If it's too hot or too cold, these reactions can fail, which severely limits the growth and survival of species. Moisture is essential for all life, supporting processes like nutrient transport and photosynthesis. Organisms are uniquely adapted to their environment's water availability, whether it's a dry desert or a waterlogged marsh. Soil pH is also vital. It affects which minerals are available to plants and influences the activity of soil microorganisms. Most plants prefer slightly acidic to neutral soils to thrive. To summarize, light intensity powers photosynthesis, temperature regulates enzyme activity, moisture sustains vital life processes, and soil pH dictates nutrient availability. All are fundamental to ecosystem health. Next, we explore adaptation. This is how organisms evolve over generations to be perfectly suited to the conditions of their specific environment, increasing their chances of survival and reproduction. Adaptations fall into three main categories: structural, which are physical body features; behavioral, which are actions that improve survival; and physiological, which are internal processes like those that help some animals tolerate extreme temperatures. These adaptations allow life to flourish in extreme environments. For instance, polar bears use structural adaptations for the cold, cacti store water for dry habitats, and deep-sea fish have adaptations to thrive in low-light conditions. Finally, let's look at how ecosystems change and the impact this has. Because everything in an ecosystem is interconnected, a change in one factor creates a ripple effect across the community. Whether it's an increase in predators, a drop in temperature, or a severe drought, these changes disrupt the balance. Every shift alters the resources available and determines the survival of every species in that ecosystem. Ecosystems are highly interconnected. A change in even one biotic or abiotic factor can trigger a ripple effect, impacting species that might seem unrelated to the initial change. Human activity significantly alters ecosystems. From pollution changing soil chemistry to deforestation and climate change, these interventions disrupt established abiotic conditions and influence community structures. Consider the impact of ash dieback disease. As the disease kills trees, the canopy opens. This shift in light, an abiotic factor, allows new plants to grow on the woodland floor, which in turn shifts the animal populations. As you prepare for your GCSE Biology exam, focus on mastering key definitions and understanding common pitfalls. Clarity in these fundamentals is essential for success. Ensure you can define the core ecological terms: individual, population, community, habitat, and ecosystem. Precise scientific language is what examiners are looking for. A common exam error is confusing biotic and abiotic factors. A useful memory trick: biotic relates to biological or living, while abiotic refers to the absence of life, meaning non-living. Remember the fundamental ecosystem formula. Ecosystem equals community plus environment. The community represents all living organisms, while the environment consists of all non-living, abiotic factors. Avoid these common mistakes. Don't include non-living things in a community, distinguish between a habitat and an ecosystem, and remember that temperature and light are strictly abiotic. Practice with exam-style questions to build confidence. Test yourself on definitions, and be ready to explain how environmental changes, like a reduction in light, cascade through a food web. To wrap up, remember the hierarchy from individual to ecosystem. Keep biotic and abiotic factors separate, and always use the core ecosystem formula to structure your exam answers.